I dug a hole, I built a tree house, I listened to the radio. Stayed home from school today, I listened to the radio. It's on every other page. There was something way, way back then.
When you were a kid in high school, I was reading where you were voted most likely to sell the Brooklyn Bridge.
Yeah, I was a hustler as a kid. I was a politician, and I've never changed. I've always been very frenetic and a go-getter.
When you were a kid, what were your parents like? Were they as active, in need of action as you?
My mother was a housewife in those days. Moms didn't have a job other than to raise the kids. My father was in the cosmetics business in New York and eventually went into the radio business because he knew that was my desire. My brother, I lost in the Second War, and he only was 20 years old, and he was an entirely different personality than I. He wasn't driven. He was a great athlete. He was taller than I. He was my idol and still is. I miss him terribly, and it's been, 40 years.
When you did American Bandstand and all the other shows that you've done, were you able to relate to the teenagers?
I've always been real comfortable with young people, more so than people my own age. I'm very comfortable with very old people, but kids are the easiest.
Were you sad when Bandstand went away?
Yeah, very. I still fantasize we were going to bring it back. Everything in my professional life I owe to that show. It is my fourth child. I'm very, very sentimental about it.
1960, the payola scandal.
Oh, yeah.
You were accused of playing records, receiving money to play records.
Yeah, I escaped barely by the skin of my teeth because I did not receive money for playing records. I gave money away for playing records. As immoral as that may seem, it wasn't against the law. All I did was I went into every conceivable form of music you could think of. Publishing, artist management, labels, record manufacture, distribution, everything. They sent me home saying, you're a bright young man, you have a conflict of interest, make a selection. Do you want to be in the music business? Do you want to be in the television business? I said I prefer to do television because that was my dream.
During the payola scandal, were you scared?
Yeah. It doesn't sound too bizarre now in the 90s, but they tapped my phone, they broke into my house. It was a very enlightening experience. As an older, mature person now, it was the first time I realized that we didn't live in a pure society, that politicians weren't necessarily nice nor good people, and that the government wasn't necessarily the good guy. They're really rough experience.
What happens a lot of times when you're as successful and as exposed as you are exposed to criticism, and some of it has been Dick Clark, rock and schlock.
Oh, yeah. Usually it's that, or there's nothing of any redeeming value, never anything memorable, most of which is true. I don't deny that. But I'm in the fluff business.